Thanks for joining us on the news tonight. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. We'll start off with judicial matters. The federal government has rearranged the convener of the Revolution Now protest, Omoyele Sowore, on a 2-count amended charge of alleged cyber stalking against Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu by calling him a criminal on X and Facebook. Mr. Sowore was rearranged before Justice Mohammed Umar of the Federal High Court Abuja, where he pleaded not guilty to the charges. Senior reporter Celestina Area has more.
At the resumed hearing of the case, counsel for the government, Akinolu Kehinde, notified Justice Mohammed Umar of a new amended charge which removes X and Facebook from the list of defendants, leaving Omoyele Sowore as the sole defendant. Mr. Sowore pleaded not guilty to the charges. Counsel for the government expressed readiness to start the trial with a witness available in court, but Marshal Abubakar, counsel for the defendant, opposed this. Mr. Abubakar stated that the information of the prosecution witnesses and his or her statements on oath were not attached to the charge. He cited Section 36, subsection 6 of the Constitution, which requires witness deposition and names to be front-loaded to the charges. Justice Umar held that all necessary documents for the defendants and all processes should be regularized. The matter has now been adjourned until 22nd January for trial. In the charge, the prosecution contends that by referring to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as a criminal, the defendant published a false statement for the purpose of causing breakdown of law and order, posing a threat to or causing such message to be sent. This will not be the first time a suit is being filed by the federal government against Omoyele Sowore. In 2019, he was arrested and arraigned before the Federal High Court after he called for a nationwide protest by the then President Buhari-led government. He was arraigned alongside his associate Olawale Bakari, also known as Mandate. The defendants were specifically accused of committing treasonable felony, conspiracy, money laundering, cyber stalking, and insulting President Buhari. The federal government had alleged that the defendants and others then at large under the aegis of Coalition for Revolution Corps, sometimes in August 2019 in Abuja, Lagos, and other parts of Nigeria, conspired amongst themselves to stage a revolution campaign on 5th day of August 2019, tagged Revolution Now, aimed at removing the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria during his term of office, otherwise done by constitutional means. In February 2024, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, applied to withdraw the case from court, which was accordingly struck out by the court. Mr. Sowore has also had confrontations with other security agencies. In 2020 and in 2021, he had a confrontation with the police over the attendance of Nnamdi Kanu's trial at the Federal High Court. In 2024, he was briefly detained by the Nigerian Immigration Service for planning protests. The current charges against Mr. Sowore are punishable with a fine of minimum of 15 million naira or 5 years imprisonment.
Omoyele Sowore, on the other hand, filed a fundamental rights enforcement suit against the Department of State Services, Meta, and X Corporation, challenging what he termed as the unconstitutional censorship of his social media account. Celestina Iria, TVC News, Abuja.
Celestina joins me on the news at 10 for more on this very interesting story. Celestina, from the court record so far, what do you consider the key legal question before the judge, and how is the prosecution framing this alleged offense under the cybercrime law?
Nifemi, you rightly said that he who alleges must prove. Yeah. Now, the DSS are the ones that are charging Mr. Sowore for the statement he made on his platform, on X platform, where he also tagged the handle of the president. Now, it is for them, it's for the court to look through the charge and see if that particular message, which was posted on his X handle, constitutes cyber stalking as alleged by the federal government. Now, from the reports we heard that this is not the first time Mr. Sowore has insulted the president. He did that with former President Buhari, which was the case was later withdrawn. The case spanned about close to 5 years in court before it was withdrawn by now the AGF. So the federal government now will prove their case because the president is the figure of the country, the number one citizen of the country. So if you go on your Twitter handle, or your X handle rather, to call him a criminal, knowing fully well that this is not a platform used by only Nigerians. Everybody worldwide, people worldwide use this platform. But then again, it is an allegation against Sowore. So it is for the government to prove that what he did constituted cyber stalking. And as it is now, he's still innocent until proven guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction.
So when the judge ordered that all documents be regularized, what does that mean in practical legal terms? What happens procedurally between now and the next hearing?
Okay, during criminal proceedings, witnesses' statements on oaths, that's now for the prosecution witness, the people they tend to call, which are the witnesses, to testify against Mr. Sowore, their statements they made needs to be presented to the defendants. When the charge is being served on Mr. Sowore, they also need to come with the witness's statement on oath so that the defendant, which is Mr. Sowore now, and his lawyer can go through the statements and prepare for their defense. But in this very case, Marshal Abubakar, Sowore's counsel, said that they were only served with the charge and no witness statement was front-loaded because before the trial commences, it is expected, which is the law, for them to be provided with those witnesses' statements so they could go through, and also while the prosecution opened their case, they can also be preparing their defense if there is need for them to open their defense or file a no case submission, as what we usually see during criminal proceedings. So that was not done. He made the observation in court and asked that the court orders the prosecution to do so. And the court said, yes, it is their right for them to be afforded those documents, and asked the prosecution to afford them those documents for them to be able to prepare their case.
The charge as we know it has now been amended. Mr. Sowore is now the sole defendant. What does that amendment change about the case and how it will be prosecuted going forward?
Okay, the federal government actually filed a charge before now. It was 5 counts against Sowore as the first defendant. Meta, which is Facebook, and X Incorporation, which was formerly known as Twitter. But I believe they have gone through the charge and found out that there will not be any need for them to add Meta and X as defendants, since they were just a channel which Mr. Sowore used to pass the message. And this social media platform which people around the world operate and also have accounts with. So now it's going to make it easy, because otherwise they will have to, it's a criminal offense and the criminal trial, they will have to serve the charges personally to Meta and also to X, and if not, also apply to serve them to substituted service. But now those hurdles will not have already been crossed because they've taken them down as defendants.
Indeed.
So Mr. Sowore will be the one that will answer to the charges.
We have to go now, but just in a few seconds, if you can, this case is resuming in another 3 days. What are the immediate legal steps the court is expected to take, and what should the public be paying attention to at that stage?
Okay, very simple. The federal government will call their first witness. We don't know who the person is. They'll open their case, present their case. We don't know how many witnesses they will call, after which they are done. The defendant is set to open his case soon. That's it.
So that's the area live for us in Abuja. Thank you for the update tonight.